Thank you so very much. My name is Abigal Mupambi. In this regard, I'll come as a political analyst, and of course, I'm a political scientist. And maybe of interest is just a recap of where we are in terms of our political environment at the moment. And of course, do not forget that just a few months ago, I would say a few months ago, we had harmonized the elections in 2023. And the whole expectation was to speak about issues of putting together a political system in the next 5-year political cycle. And of course, we saw a lot of issues emanating. And of course, the opposition, being opposition, have always complained about issues of reforms. We will attend to that because of certain pacts that are already speaking about reforms. And I want to believe that in the lifetime of opposition, it has been an issue of political reforms and other reforms, of course, as a package. But you would also realize that soon after they harmonized the elections, is it 9 months or so? 6 months down the line, we are talking elections. We are doing elections. We are actually expecting yet another set of major by-elections soon after some by-elections on December 9. And here we are on the 3rd of February. We are already, right now as we're speaking, people are out there campaigning. And what does that mean? It means Zimbabwe is still electioneering. Even after the harmonized elections, we saw the developments that happened in the main opposition, CCC, where we saw recalls and after recalls, and we are not guaranteed that those recalls are going to have any stop. Of course, there have been developments in terms of our legal battles, legal challenges, where, of course, certain factions within the house of the CCC have been trying to stop the issue of recalls. And, of course, it looks like an in-house issue within the CCC, within the strategic ambiguity strategy, but, of course, it has got a national connotation. And because when it comes to now elections, it means we are now talking about issues of ZEC, issues of our national fiscus, issues of focus. Now the people are still talking elections. So it's a distortion on its own, while it's, of course, it's a legal instrument, it's a legal route that has to be taken. But we now need to talk about issues of balancing development, electioneering, democracy, developments. Are people only supposed to enjoy democratic right to vote without certain democratic rights, of course, and enjoying certain rights like a right to shelter, right to health, a number of package of rights that are there? It speaks to an issue of balancing issues as a country, and of course we need to tone down and find each other as a people. It can't be elections alone. It can't be electioneering alone in a country. So we really have a big distortion that is coming up. But well, just recently again, we saw the coming in of a new baby, the DAS component of Nelson Chamisa and the team coming up with a new outfit all together outside CCC. That means automatically that they are already, CCC is now a certain animal, DAS is now a certain animal. Where are the people in this? Where is the opposition constituents in this? What is happening to the CCC house? It means it continues to bear. What is happening to democracy? Democracy is proving to become a distortion, particularly at a time when we expect the opposition to define as an alternative, to come together as an alternative and improve and check some checks and balances within the ruling, so that we are a mirror as the opposition to say, yes, we can do it. We propose it done that way. Just a few, of course, days again, maybe a day or two after the DAS, we see the NERA Pact. That reminds me of the journey of Morgan Tsvangirai. Then when he was moving around, it was Morgan Tsvangirai who came up with the idea of bringing together political parties ahead. I want to believe he knew his journey was, of course, reaching to an end. It is during those days when he was bringing civic society, he was bringing political party leaders, he was actually saying, let's have a big tent. It was an admission that alone he can't. It was an admission and a recognition that he needed to join forces. He took that opportunity even to bring back people like the renewal teams like Tendai Biti and others. He took the opportunity to accept back the Watchmen News. He actually had to swallow the pride at that particular time. But here comes the NERA Pact this time around. Obvious, let's hope we are not going to have a squabble fighting within the very same camp, the question of supremacy, the question of who is going to do what, and of course we have seen people giving each other responsibilities within the same NERA. But I think if it is going to work, it has to prove some level of seriousness. It must be able to convince the people that what is the difference between itself and the Pollard of yesterday. Remember, we had the Pollard again. People accuse it's Pollard, it is because the convener is ZANU-PF, because this is that. But the same people that have been accused of being ZANU-PF in Pollard are the same NERA. What are we going to see any difference? Maybe NERA has got a responsibility to appeal to the people of Zimbabwe at the moment, to go out there and package themselves as a proper opposition force. Not necessarily opposition force for own information, but also as an alternative to push for reforms. We have been having disputed elections in this country. What has been the basis? Because there are no reforms. Even if you put those opposition people in parliament, they will be singing, no one talks reforms. They will be talking about their packages, no one talks reforms. Is NERA going to be a neutral platform to talk reforms? Is it going to prove that it can push reforms? Is it going to give Zimbabweans an opportunity even to put some input, and of course prove to be truthful? So it's not about just coming together and signing. We want to see after signing, then what? Now we have got people are scattered. The constituents of opposition is scattered at the moment. They are everywhere. They are leaderless. Because right now, those who have been having hopes in the personalized Chamisa is now does. I don't want to think that even people in the rural areas, I'll talk of rural areas because of the flow of information, they are still supporting CCC Nelson Chamisa. Only to realize that Nelson Chamisa is already out of CCC. Here comes the issue of the Minister for Justice. I was just reading also, talking about the issue of the funding, the electoral political party act fund. How is it going? So people are asking, how is it going to be shared now that within the CCC there have been squabbles? But I want to believe that now that Nelson Chamisa has surrendered the CCC, definitely the administration within CCC right now, those who believe in the CCC, who still believe in that movement, the way it is, they're the people to receive the funding. At the end of the day, it's not a political question, it's a legal question. If CCC, if someone surrenders or resigns from an institution, it is the institution that receives the money. So those are distortions that people may want probably to. For your own information, my first response about NERA was to say, after signing, then what? There is 5 years ahead. They need to build a case. Go out there in the constituencies. First of all, win the people. Win the hearts of the people. Come as a movement. Because NERA is not a party. It is a movement of political parties. Now, the people, nothing can proceed without the people. Nothing can be meaningful without the people. Nothing will make sense without the people. So the whole idea here is to go and build a critical mass around the NERA agenda. Forget issues of power politicking. Forget issues of being power hungry. Forget the positions. Because what the people want right now is to see where is the agenda that resonates with them. Now, we have an open check 5 years ahead. Are we going to set target that through NERA by 2028 would have changed A, B, C, D, E, would have influenced 2, at least the reforms, would have influenced something? It's not a question of having a grouping. Let them have a clear a clear target that is measurable, that can actually the people want to buy into that agenda, so that it come 2028, we don't just complain over the same issue that we used to complain with in 1999 on the formation of opposition MDC, complain in 2005, 2008, 2013, and 2018. We complain about the same issue, even at a time when we had our own parliamentarians as a fair proportion in parliament. We still complain about the same. We will never stop this complaint. If so, how? After spelling out that, then we want to see steps that NERA is appealing the people of Zimbabwe to say, let's join hands and achieve A, B, C, D, E. NERA can work without Nelson Chamisa. Only if NERA can appeal to the people of Zimbabwe. Nelson Chamisa has got the people right, but lacks strategy. They may have a strategy, but they need the people. So, until both sides realize that they need each other to cross on the other side of the river, people won't cross. Nelson Chamisa has the people and lacks strategy. He has pride, full of I know, but with the people. Where to take the people? Everywhere. That's the problem. This is how Nelson Chamisa gave birth to Chabangu, leaving everywhere open. So now we have got also the Chabangu factor. Are they going to be part of NERA? Are they going to be pompous, think that they are okay? Like I said, those who have got strategy, they've got no people. NERA is a good idea, but it needs people. The one with people is crossing over to DAS. Maybe he's also buying certain things from Musma money. You get what I'm saying? So he needs also ideas home. He needs people home. He needs to swallow the pride and come together and say, let's prepare for 2028. As things stand, this hoax of saying SADC is going to give us elections, is going to do this, it's neither here nor there. It's just some hollow noise that is also misdirecting people. The whole idea now, can we put together an opposition force that can challenge the 2028 electoral cycle, that can even win in between certain by-elections? But we are faced with February 3. We've got double candidates within the CCC. We have got some who have gone as independents, some who have maintained the stance like the Ostalos to say, I will still do the same process. But of course, he knew he cannot proceed. So all those distortions can actually expose the weaknesses within the opposition movement as a whole. We need to begin to prove, even by winning certain cities within these by-elections, so that it proves that as a country, we are going somewhere. But as things stand right now, everything that is happening within the opposition is going to benefit ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF is just becoming ZANU-PF. It's not doing anything, capitalizing, winning, attacking, and that's ZANU-PF. Any other political player would do the same. Even if I was ZANU-PF, I was not even going to think about 2/3. I was going to think about 100%. Of course, you're in the game to win. So we should not be blaming ZANU-PF for capitalizing on the weakness of the opposition. They are becoming ZANU-PF. Opposition must be actually finding itself like the way they are trying to find themselves. They find themselves. They also get the ball. They win, they score. And that's the whole idea. At the end of the day, it is politics. It is a game. For your own information, we are actually having a scenario where the citizens are the victims. We are the victims of ignorance. We are the victims of the games of political leaders, equally hungry political leaders. We need a citizenry that is equipped to know, even to push for certain citizenry actions where possible. But right now, we are kept in this blame game. No one is developing. Everyone is politicking. We need a citizenry to see through and say, where can we belong? Like I said, we need political leaders that can attract the citizenry hearts, so that as a collective, as a critical mass, we can influence things going a certain direction. But as long as political leaders continue to use us as pawns, and we can't even see it, we continue to argue among and between each other, and they are moving the ball, Look at Parliament today and even yesterday. What is happening? When they are in Parliament, they actually discuss their issues in their packs. No one fights, no one sings for you. It's about their packs. Until the citizenry gain some consciousness to say, no, this is not the direction to go. They can actually tell any political leader to go because they are the citizens. But as long as the citizens are operating as vulnerables without recognizing the power within themselves, then we are going nowhere as a people. The citizens have got the answer for everything. Not these citizens who say, I've got citizens. No, inform the citizenry that can tell a leader go and the leader can go. I remember very well when we joined the Mugabe must go, Mugabe must go. It was the citizenry power that led Mugabe to actually have the move. Yes, you can claim it was the army, you can claim it was what? Do you want to tell me that the army from the barracks, were they going to do that without the citizens? It was the citizen movement, which had started a long way before even the armies were in the barracks. We were in the trenches then as activists, and it was the same army chasing us to say, don't do this. But at the end of the day, they had to join the citizen movement. Of course, they had to put in their own strategies in between, of course, to grab power here and there. But it was a citizen's action. It was the Tajamukas of that day. It was the hashtag this constitution that I was leading. It was the Munwesem Road. It was the vendors, the Sten Jorwadas, and Kamban, the Linda Masariras. Why were we out? Why were we arrested? Why were we going through all that torture? Because we wanted a certain system to move. We joined hands. It was the Mawarires. But look at today. The same leaders are now divided in silos, and everyone is. At the end of the day, we need to bring the citizens together under one agenda. Do we have a leader? We have a clarity of agenda. We'll never do that. Will the DAS do that? What is that which you are going to do different is the opposition movement. And of course, as we continue to do this, ZANU-PF is just benefiting. It is just becoming ZANU-PF. Simple. They are not even working harder to get all these things. Today in Bulawa, we have donated seats. Why? Do we blame ZANU-PF for being ZANU-PF? No. ZANU-PF is becoming ZANU-PF. We are losing focus. They are just grabbing. This 2/3 question, we see that they want to get 2/3. So what are we doing to stop that? We are even playing to the gallery. So at the end of the day, let the opposition movement prove some difference between them and ZANU-PF. Let them prove to the people that they are also people-centered. Let them prove to the people that they've got better alternatives. People here are not down. They will see the difference. They will definitely follow. This is what the difference between current leaders and Morgan Tsvangirai. Morgan Tsvangirai had a clear ideology. And this is why, as civic society, as opposition actors, as people continue to follow him. He was not standing in with blame games. But right now it's all about blame games and someone grabs some few crumbs. This is not. This is what has actually destroyed the opposition movement at the moment. But ZANU-PF is continuously becoming ZANU-PF. In politics, if you continue to blame the opponent for benefiting out because of your weaknesses, then you don't know what is politics. You need to strategize and pick yourselves up. And of course, the goal is there, 2028. Let's not tell people lies and continue to cause unnecessary apathy and havoc. We are waiting for the next round, which is 2028. Any other stories is just a hoax.